And welcome to Bishop Talk. Thank you for joining us for this next episode or series in our Bishop Talk ongoing talk show. We invite you to visit sunshinecathedral.org, click on my Bishop page, and you will find a complete listing of all the previous episodes that we've aired. And you can also visit youtube.com/Sunshine Cathedral, and you can find the Cathedral YouTube channel, and you will find the Bishop Talks there, as well as Sunday services and a lot more that you might like to use as media resource, and just click in and see what we have going on at the Sunshine Cathedral. But today we have, of course, as always, our co-host, the Bishop Durrell Watkins, who is the executive. That's my role, who is the senior minister at the Sunshine Cathedral and also auxiliary bishop with the Global Justice Institute. And today our guest is the Reverend Dr. Axel Schwaigert from Stuttgart, Germany. Did I get that right, Axel?
More or
Finally.
less, more or less. Axel Schwaigert, but don't even try it. It's
It's,
so difficult.
it's my Alabama accent going on. See?
It's adorable.
Okay.
The
So
rest
any
of the world is like tri and quadlingual. We're barely unilingual us in the US, but we try. We do our best.
Yeah, I can only do one. Like, so how many languages you speak before we go? You speak one or two? Three? Three.
I speak German and English and my local dialect, which is Swabian. And right now I'm learning Italian, so I can order ice cream in Assisi.
Okay.
Doing something for my body while I'm praying in Assisi.
Well, excellent. Well, we're glad that you are here with us for this episode of Bishop Talk. And before we get started, Durrell, do you want to do anything to say self-introduction about yourself before I go to Axel?
I'm Durrell. I'm the senior minister of the Sunshine Cathedral, an auxiliary bishop of the Global Justice Institute, the current president of the Divine Science Federation. And this is Robert's brainchild. So he lets me like tag along and we get to talk to fascinating people and learn about not only their ministries, but their insights onto what's going on in the world. And so here's me tagging along again. We're going to have a good time, though. We always do.
Excellent. And before we get into our topic today, Axel, we're going to let you self-introduce yourself because if I try to say any more than pronounce your name, I will probably get it wrong. Although I will say that we've been in MCC a long time, but also we have connections to the Episcopal Divinity School in Cambridge, Mass. As well. We're all alums from the Episcopal
Mhm.
Divinity School. So,
And we've all known each other. Like I met Robert in 1996. Axel sometime after that, but like we have known the three of like we have decades and decades of
yeah,
interrelationality here. So that's
yeah.
we've all grown
Yeah,
old together.
Serving on teams.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, Axel,
Yeah.
self-introduce yourself. Tell the folks what you want them to know about you.
Okay, my name is Axel Schwaigert. I'm the pastor of Metropolitan Community Church in Stuttgart. And this year we celebrated our 25th year of ministry here in Stuttgart. 25 years ago, Jochen Gewecke, who is the network coordinator for Europe, and I started this church here after I went to Bournemouth and did my candidacy, as we called it back then, in Bournemouth, England, for 2 years. I was working with Neil Thomas, Reverend Neil Thomas. He was my teaching pastor, so it's all his fault. So yeah, I come from a Lutheran background, Lutheran German background. Came out in 1993, which is now 32 years ago, which is a long time. And it's very interesting to see how our community has changed over those 30 something years. I started in the eighth years, basically, at the end of the eighth years, and then doing all the difference, did the different changes in church and grown old, and I still have hair and it's gray.
But
I
you got
once was one of the youngest clergy in MCC, and it was in 2000, I think, that we met at the Toronto conference. That was my
mm,
first international thing within MCC, and since then I
A
have done a
quarter
lot
of a
of things.
century already. Oh my God.
Yeah, yeah,
wow.
it's a long time. And in that time, being on the state commission on the Statement of Faith and the Commission on Rites and Sacraments and on the theologies team, and so we've done a lot of things. And I'm eternally grateful for Sunshine Cathedral because they hosted my sabbatical
Hmm.
not too long ago already. So,
We want to do it
and I
again.
have a secular
Come back.
job. I'm
Come
a
home.
funeral director. Yeah, and I have a secular job. I'm a funeral director during the
Ah.
day.
Do
So,
you
and
do you share space with that? Did you once or no?
no, no, we never.
No.
That
No.
we thought was a little bit too strange, even for our standards. We actually, my church, Salz der MCC Gemeinde Stuttgart, we worship in a home for the elderly. We rent
Oh
their
yeah.
common room, and they give us free reign, and we can do whatever we want, and
Nice.
that's
Nice.
great. And every now and then, some of the old people toddle in and find it very interesting what we are doing there.
Now, people in the US might find this interesting that so-called state or state-approved churches, they get some help, but MCC is not on that list, is it? So you
No.
completely, like you have to fund your own stuff, you have to create your own programming. You're all on your own, really.
Yes, exactly. We have a quasi state church tax system. So where you are either a member of the Protestant church or the Roman Catholic Church, depending on the diocese or the area you live in. So if you move church. Basically,
Mm.
if I would move to Bavaria, or if a Protestant would move to Bavaria, they would change churches. And we are called what we call free church,
Mm.
Mhm.
Freikirche, which is basically you're all on your own. What's in the plate on Sunday and in our bank account, that's what we have.
Mm.
And
Mm.
that's one of the reasons why I'm bivocational.
Well, you have done it well for numbers of years, and congratulations on all your accolades. And
I
uh,
don't know of another, maybe some in Australia, but like internationally, MCC, I think Axel is one of the most long-lasting, successful
hmm
pastors,
hmm
you see internationally.
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
and done it
I
well.
actually, I actually am one of the oldest. It
I think the
feels
number one in Europe for sure.
no, actually, Jane Clark is longer.
Oh,
In Glasgow.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
She is, I think, a year older than I am. She was on my ordination committee.
Oh,
Oh,
And our moderator, Cecilia Eggleston, is longer in service.
oh, that's
And but she wasn't ordained by then. She was a layperson. And Maxwell Rie in Edinburgh
mm,
is longer. But then I'm really one of the old timers nowadays.
yeah.
yeah. Wow. Well, for those who've watched Bishop Talk before, we tackle lots of topics and issues, and I do what my high school English teacher used to call chase the rabbits. So Bishop Talk, we chase the rabbit sometime, and we talk about faith, politics, and theology. Sometimes we talk about all three. Sometimes we just land in on one. But that really is the aim of the show, is to talk about faith, politics, and theology, and it's also to help people bridge conversations, nationally or even globally in this case around things that we are facing, either from a faith perspective or a political perspective. And so, for our talk today, we have Axel. He's in Germany. And so, Axel, let me just start off by asking you, what. I mean, you're going to kind of be the best person to ask these questions because of you're not in the United States right now. But what is your faith take on what's happening in the United States right now?
On the level of faith, that is a really good question because I have no idea what else is going. Can I say that what a beep is going on
Bleep.
in this country of yours? Uh, Look, I believe Jesus calls us to be ministers of people. He calls us to the margin. He calls us to the people in need again and again. He says, care for your neighbors, be open to the refuge, feed the hungry, close the naked, care for the sick. And a lot of what we hear about faith in the United States is just the opposite. It's fear, it's greed, it's exclusion, it's we are
Cruelty.
better than others. That's what I hear. When we think about church in the United States, we think about those fear-mongering people,
Mm,
unfortunately, as a society. I'm
hmm
not talking about me talking to you
hmm
friends because I know the reality is different, but um, we stand here as people of faith in utter shock and horror as our person or a whole clique of person who wouldn't even be able to become members in most of those churches because
Hmm.
they are adulterers and thieves and liars and I don't know what. And now they are president of your country. He couldn't become a member in the Baptist church, and they bend their knee to him. I have no idea how they do it, and I know I'm doing a lot of Baptist injustice, but you know what I mean. I'm talking
Yeah.
about structural
Yeah.
issues here, and
Yeah.
excuse my German about not knowing exactly
Oh,
what church to blame. But
But we're pastors, we're theologians, we're public, spiritual leaders, whatever. We know that the evangelical now. I realize in a lot of the world, evangelical just means Protestant, but in the U.S., evangelical it means very conservative.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like it's very, and in the U.S. evangelical context, I mean, like you have to admit your sins and regret them and repent. And like there's this holiness tradition where your life has to look a certain sort of way, and you ask Jesus to sort of take over your life, and you follow that direction, and that He's the Lord of your life and whatever, and that's a conversion moment. But none of that. None of that is what you see. Now, I'm a liberal Protestant, so whatever. But for the evangelicals, you
Mhm.
see none of that
No.
in their hero, and that's the baffling part.
And the interesting part is, and and that has something to do with society. They pick single issues with which they can create fear, which is abortion, which is trans issues, which is queer issues, and of course the migration stuff that's going in your country, and create a fear atmosphere of us against them or they against us. And with that, my theory is it's all about power. It's
hmm.
about power
Yeah.
and money.
Yeah.
Of course.
It's this prosperity gospel, which I think is inherently evil, and this power thing. We want the world be white and straight and 1950s, or
Yeah.
better even 1930s.
Yeah.
Right.
Um, that's what it's all about, and that's why they try to erase queer identities right now with the whole issues about the rainbow crossroads
Hmm.
and the murals and all that. It's about erasure of minorities and identities. I think it's absolutely dreadful, and as a person of faith, I'm flabbergasted.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I think most of us here in America are flabbergasted as well. And, that's why at this point, I don't even listen to American news as much anymore. I listen to any news I can find from outside of America.
Mhm.
okay, but Robert, then now let me ask a question.
Hey, it's my show. You don't get to do that. No.
Where is the outcry?
Yeah.
Where is
Yeah.
the outcry? He's what we see is sending in kind of paramilitary troops into
Yes.
cities. That is exactly that's straight out of the playbook of the Nazis. That's
Hmm.
exactly what I did.
Hmm.
What I did. They created the fight, and then they swooped in with their SR and SS troops. And I'm not suggesting that those members
The
of
similarities are
the
very, very distinguished. Yeah.
Yeah.
but it is the same system.
Yeah.
And where are the demonstrations? Where are the people going on the street and saying stop? No.
There
Uh,
has been, though, a 40-year assault on education. So, and it's really amped up now, like where history in museums, in class, in schools, like history can't be taught. History's being covered up, history's being whitewashed. So I think there's been a 40-year campaign of ignorance that has made this possible.
Hmm.
It's been very
mhm,
calculated. We really super underestimated the long-term plans of the nefarious.
Hmm.
mhm,
And I
I think
think, yeah, and I think, the outcry it seems like there are pockets of outcry, but if you're not in my pocket, I can't outcry with you. There's not this united front yet. It would, it seems to be,
Between the ambivalence and the ignorance, like people don't know that they can or that they
yeah,
should or that there's anything to outcry against.
yeah,
Like it's
Well,
been a very effective campaign of destruction from within by promoting ignorance and apathy and now the handful of really they do not mean well. They do like usually it's like, oh, we disagree about how to achieve things, but we all want the same good thing. That is no longer the case.
mm,
no, no. And what I fear is part of the issue, and we see that here in Germany too. It doesn't affect me.
right, yeah,
Probably
It's
does
this
though.
this it's this old thing. When they came for the Jews,
hmm
I didn't care because I wasn't one.
Yeah.
That old saying. And if they came for the communists, I didn't care because I wasn't a communist. And if they came for the socialists, I didn't care because I wasn't a socialist. And when they finally came for me, there wasn't anybody there who cared
right,
because they were all gone.
yeah,
I think that's a huge problem because for a lot of people, um, things are things are going
yeah,
somehow, and they struggle to make ends meet. And I honestly, I understand them. You have to look out for your own job and your own family, but that's the wrong thing to do.
yeah,
I'm saying that as a person of faith because we have a mandate, we have a calling, we have clear issues what we can preach and say,
hmm
look here,
yeah,
it's right there in the Bible. Um, and it's the wrong thing for a society to do because it will collapse. It will collapse, and you will see it. Healthcare, which we still don't understand that you don't
yeah,
have healthcare in
yeah,
the country because that's not a socialist thing.
no,
It was here, it was in Germany, it was Otto von Bismarck who invented it, and he was the most conservative of all. But he invented the universal healthcare to keep the masses calm because he
yeah,
said, give them healthcare,
And
give them
people deserve to live. You know what I mean?
exactly.
So yeah, this is even an issue so strange. We're the only industrial developed country in the world that the people are just on their own.
Yeah,
Good
hmm
luck to
yeah.
you.
And
hmm
no, and that is the reason why people then say, okay, we have to fend for ourselves. We have to make sure that my job isn't in danger. So I'm not going to go and protest for somebody else's job,
hmm
uh, even if it means that I can't buy vegetables anymore and fruits because nobody's there to harvest it anymore. Huh?
yeah, yeah,
And this whole system of injustice. I think it's created to so that political and social discord, and then you can create power.
hmm
And that's exactly what happened 80 years ago here in Germany.
mm,
That's exactly what happened, or more than 80 years ago, 100 years ago now.
yeah. When I, listen to you speak there, I'm thinking about, for us in America, it seems like every right that has been achieved, I'm going to say within my lifetime, and I was born in 1967. So let's just say every right that has been achieved in my lifetime is literally on the table on some degree. We can go back as for, not too far before that, before Brown versus education, which, separate but did not mean equal when it comes to education, marriage equality. And before that, it was interracial marriage was an issue.
Mhm.
Women breaking through the glass ceiling, and and the job market and the business industry, ministry not being what it looked like then as it does now, and how we fought to to say we're all a part of God's family, if you will. Roe versus Wade being overturned, and I think for me that was probably. Oh, and let me add to that list also the current recurrence of gerrymandering, but I think the first red
And the
flag,
absolute targeting, the government
blatant,
targeting and demonization of trans people.
yeah, trans people and and healthcare, And I think probably the first red flag for me, I mean, there have been many, many red flags, but when Roe versus Wade was overturned, that should have been the national rallying cry right then and there. Because if they would take that right away from a woman to bodily choice for themselves, they're going to come out to everybody, and they have, and they're doing it, and they're not stopping. And
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I think people, some people, like you're saying with the point, some people are still waiting for them to, oh, it's not me, it's not me. Well, at this point, it's all of us. And it's not also all of us just here in America. It's almost, this is a global impact that this administration is happening on the world right now. And that's the scary thing to me. I'm afraid for
Yeah.
America, but I'm afraid for the globe also.
Yeah, yeah. Don't get me started on that. The whole craziness that happens right now around trying to not support the Ukraine against a really dictatorship
Yeah.
and colonizing and it's a illegal. They invaded Ukraine to try to erase the culture. This is not about land
No.
or even resources. Russia has that. They couldn't and Putin couldn't stand the thought that they declared themselves independent. They wanted to speak their own language. They wanted to live their own culture. They wanted to govern themselves. And that's what the problem. They want to erase that culture. And that's the clear, outspoken and said thing. And I don't think the American public hears that right now.
Hmm.
When they want to erase Ukraine as a culture
Hmm.
because they think it's all Russian, so they have to speak Russian.
Yeah.
That's one of the things Lavrov said. They need to speak Russian again, and they never spoke Russian. Uh, their language is Ukrainian, and the problem is, I could. This is affecting me directly here in Germany. I can sit in the car and drive without having to stop at one border right to the Ukrainian border. Huh? I can drive through Austria, right there, Hungary. This is all Europe. This is all open, and I'm right there where the drones are attacking civilians right now,
Hmm.
and and the American administration, who could do something, tries to be in bed with Putin. It's absolutely unbelievable. I have no idea how that happens.
Hmm.
And the reality is, and that's the fear that we have, the moment Ukraine will fall, Moldova will be the next. That's a very small little country next east of Romania.
Hmm.
That's the next, and they are already targeting it with trying to interfere with their elections. The Baltic states, so Estonia, Lithuania, and Estland, Letland, and Litauen, I don't know the English words for them, they will be the next out of the same playbook.
Yeah.
They are real Russians, they don't know it yet. So,
Hmm.
and then we have a global war.
Yeah.
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 And
And
that's very, very scary. And you asked me about my
Yeah, the
take
two
on as
world
a
wars were really European wars, and this is how they both started.
Yeah, but it will not stop there. It will
no.
not stop there. Canada is as Russian as Alaska is as Russian in Putin's mind as Ukraine is.
Yeah.
Believe me, for
Mm,
him, he went home to Alaska, not to another country.
right.
He was on his own turf in his own mind.
Hmm.
Well,
And
and
don't underestimate that.
Russia already attacked a U.S. target. It wasn't on U.S. soil, but a U.S. target with no consequence, no complaints. I mean, our president is a Russian asset. I don't even know if he
And
knows it, but he is.
and
Yeah.
and he's playing the whole thing. And believe me, this as Europeans, we take that very serious. This whole thing we are taking over Greenland.
Yeah.
That's an
Yeah.
independent European country. I'm
Yeah,
sorry, and we are allies, or
yeah.
Yeah.
we used to be. It's unbelievable. It's absolutely unbelievable, and we take that very serious. And Robert, you asked me about my take on faith. Where is the united Christian voice on that.
Hmm. Hmm.
I'm not hearing that in the
Yeah.
United States. I'm too far away, I have to say, but I watch CNN every day or read
You hear
CNN
Vatican,
every day.
you hear the Vatican, you hear Jerusalem and the Palestinian churches, you
Yeah.
hear the Ukrainian Orthodox Church, and the Russian Orthodox Church, by the way, I'm so disappointed in
Oh
them.
well, the
They're just an
Russian
arm of the
Orthodox.
state, basically. And so, yeah, so you're hearing, I mean, you do hear Christian outcry, but not from the United States.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the Russian church, we have to we have to be very, very clear, is a part of the Russian Empire. They have given up the right, in my opinion, to call themselves a church.
Mm.
The patriarch is a KGB agent. He's paid by the church. Oh yeah, he has a high-ranking officer of the KGB.
Hmm.
Wow.
Kirill is a high-ranking officer in the KGB.
Well, he acts like that, but I didn't know that was
No,
officially
no,
the
he
case.
is. He
Oh,
is.
Wow.
He is. He and Putin are old friends from their KGB times.
wow.
Wow.
And that's. I'm not making this up. I couldn't even make it up because it's see. But no, no. This is widespread knowledge. That's absolutely clear, and that's how he acts. But still, I think we as people, we need to as Christian people, we need to unite.
Mm.
And that brings me to the other thing, which is an issue here, and I'm curious to hear how that works out with you guys. I think as a queer community, we need to unite
Mm.
and
Hmm.
stand together, because what I see here is a lot of us old people, and I mean now, 30 years of activism. I came out in 1993 in April, and the first article in Temple University News, about me with my name being interviewed was in October, on the 14th of October. I just found the old issue. I'm cleaning out my study right now. So since then, I'm a public activist, and honestly, I don't know how you, but we are getting tired,
Mm.
aren't we?
Mm.
And we have done it, and we have done it the way we could do it. I work out of the 80s playbook. We meet together, we meet and we discuss, and then we do
Queer
some
Nation,
action
ACT
Mm.
and
Yep.
UP. Yes.
Yep.
I was born in
and all that.
1966. I grew up in the AIDS years and
Yeah,
ACT UP and Queer Nation and sodomy laws. And like we have
yeah, and the peace
one victory
movement
after
and
another we fought so hard for. And now it is just overwhelming. Like this is the first time in my history. Like we always had more to do, but we made a baby step forward and a baby step forward and a baby step forward. This is the first time in my history that we've gone back.
Hmm.
yeah.
And
And
it's,
then we
I
have,
don't know even what to do with that.
and then Durrell, we have those young people who come out now, are in their 20s or early 20s, and come out, and they are all on their machines and on TikTok and
Hmm.
on Instagram, and I don't even know on what else. Facebook is old
It's
fashioned
for
for
old
them,
folks. Think of it for
and
old folks like us.
and
We do Facebook.
me too. But we don't reach the young people anymore, we
Yeah.
old ones.
Yeah.
And they think, okay, you are the old ones we need to get together. We need to be together, intergenerational and international, to do stuff, and especially because honestly, my church is getting old, and we have huge difficulties to reach the young people
Hmm.
because they live somewhere totally else. But I think what the young people don't understand, the safe places are gone.
Yeah.
A lot of the clubs are gone, of the pubs are gone.
Mm.
If I travel in the United States, in Florida, I've always went to the queer, gay male
Hmm.
resorts. Most of them are closed in
Yep.
Fort Lauderdale.
Yep.
Huh?
Yep.
A lot of them are just not
It's
there
gone. Yep.
anymore. And with this, they only have to shut down the platform, which is one switch that
Yep.
Elon Musk can do, and then they have no way to connect anymore. And that is my big worry, that where are our safe places? Where are our places to meet and work from?
Yeah.
But then I don't want to sound patronizing and being the old guy and
Isolation, though, is toxic. It's injurious. And if they can create isolation, they have done damage. They
Hmm.
yeah.
because we're powerful together. If they can keep us apart, that is a tactic. That is a
Yeah.
strategy.
Mhm. And we see that happening in Europe, in Hungary, in Poland.
In
There
Poland,
are
yeah.
still queer people free zones in Poland where you can't be openly queer because that puts your life in danger.
Mm.
Hungary, as a whole country, I wouldn't travel there. Not as a openly gay male. They banned gay pride, which is
Mm.
against European law, and but they are just doing it. Italy, in a lot of places, is very conservative and very problematic, and we are losing ground. Robert, what you said, we had those baby steps forward, and we are losing ground rapidly right now.
So here's my next question. This can be faith, politics, or theology. What is it that they fear about us? What is it that we are so, and that other is a large umbrella because it's not just the queer community. There is this other that's out there that they are afraid of. And I don't know what it is that other creates in them such a fear.
I want to even zero in a little more. They try to control us by limiting our access to joy.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like, wash away those chalk rainbows, come after marriage equality, come after drag performance. Like like the attack on joy is part of the strategy.
Mm.
Our joy is our freedom to like just love who we are so much and express who we are so radically and boldly. Is that the threat? Because otherwise, who are we to them? They don't even have to
Yeah.
notice us. Is it that we like that everything else, the thing that they've now resorted to is attacking joy. And I think the joy is the threat to them.
Hmm.
I don't know. I think it's the uncontrollability. Is that a word?
Hmm.
Let me let
It is
me
now.
let me try to put it in a sentence. Uh, as queer people, in our nature, and I'm talking about sexuality now, we are uncontrollable. Uh,
All right.
for me, the example is the Roman Catholic Church, the celibacy.
Mm.
If you bring a young person to the point where you can control his sexuality,
Hmm.
that he gives up his sexuality, the core of joy, uh, then you can control all the rest.
Hmm.
And that's why the church, and the Catholic Church is the example, but we can talk a lot of
But
other
don't you
churches
think
too.
that that is so counterintuitive, counter-natural, that that's why there's so much misbehavior and dysfunction? Because you can't
Yes.
force someone into celibacy and expect them to be healthy.
Yeah, but
And they
but
behave
the,
terribly then.
this whole issue about sexuality, because in sexuality, people are not being, you can't control them. Orgasm is the absolute total loss of control in yourself, but also from outside. You can't control two or three or even one person in the middle of an orgasm. You can't control them.
The Big
That's
Bang
where
is
they
basically a divine orgasm.
Hmm.
absolutely, and that's what they are afraid of. And I think as queer people, we are a symbol for that
Hmm.
that what can't be controlled.
Hmm.
And trans people are even more a symbol for what can't be controlled, because they say, I'm taking control over my own body. I decide what my body is and how my body is,
That
and
scares
and
them
I
to
decide if I
death.
want to be, or if I live my life in this body, male or female, or not at all. I couldn't care less. And that all is not controllable. You can control the 1950s couple. Huh? That's
Mm.
something you can control. This man goes out and fights in the world. Women stands home in the kitchen, and every Friday or every Saturday evening, they have very controlled sex.
They understand,
It's
though, that that was a construct, that that was an artificial construct.
Mm.
of course,
And that's why it's threatened, because it's not organic, it's not real.
yeah, and everybody who and do you know what the real horrible thing is for me? The queer community fell in the same trap.
Mm.
Mm.
We became complicit to that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Mm.
We became complicit to that. And I think okay, I will defend somebody else's right to marry to my last drop of blood. Because I think that is, and hey, how long are you together? And congratulations. And
Oh,
sometimes I
25
see the
years,
wedding
us, yeah,
picture.
25 years and
It's
counting.
wonderful. But in a way, we became controllable too, because the good gay guy is the married gay guy. Oh, look, says Mrs. Smith, we have now gay neighbors too. They are such nice people, and they brought me a quiche. And they have this wonderful little dachshund and a little garden gnome in their front yard. The garden gnome.
I
I
do
just
make a good quiche, I gotta say.
Oh yeah, we fabulous. Let me do it. But
No, really, but I
it
get
is
it. No, you're
very
right.
it
You're
is
Mm-hmm.
right.
very dangerous. It is very dangerous to go down that path. And I do understand that people don't want to fight again and again and again. I totally understand that. But we have given up being the sexual outlaws.
Mm.
And I remember that Jimmy Tulsky told me about the pre-AIDS years,
Mm.
where the word was we can fuck whoever we want, whenever we want, and how often we want. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we gave up that for the security of marriage and our church has done that. MCC has done that. We moved into the middle and being accepted. No,
Here's
we
the thing
need
that I think
to.
is toxic about it. Not that people became more conservative or more controlled or whatever, but that they pretended to be, because that's the face. Whereas in their real life, they're still doing what they've always done.
Yeah,
That's
but
it's the lack of integrity, the lack of honesty that I think is the problem. If you're
yeah,
gonna
but
fuck
but
everybody up and down the street, just do it and don't lie about it. You know what I mean? Like, be honest. Honesty is what's important. Keeping
yeah,
your
the
promises is
real.
important. Promise. Like, your promise might be to be monogamous. Your promise might be some other promise. That the holiness is in keeping your promise, not in someone else telling you what the promise has to be.
You're totally right, but Durrell, for the powers that be, for your president, the
Who
pretense
hasn't
is
kept a promise
enough.
in his life?
Exactly. The pretend to pretend is enough. As long as you pretend, as long as you do it exactly the way we do it in secret and have three other wives on the side. Uh, but
Yeah. And
the
a
queer
professional
people,
sex
those
worker, and
loud
God
queer
knows what
people,
happens on this little island. He's on the list. He's on the list. I promise he's on the list.
totally, totally. But as long as it's not public, it's all right. But the Rainbow Crossroads, the murals, your Rainbow Bridge in Wilton Manors, that's up in people's face, that's out. Gay pride celebrations is out in their face. Drag shows is out in their space. Your wonderful gospel drag shows in the leather. I will never forget that. It's out in their face. And that's what they are afraid of. And that's what they want to destroy and kill. And as unfortunately, there are there are powers within our own community that will say, "Oh, if we wouldn't be loud enough, and if we would a little bit, yeah, those track shows, they don't get and the children." And I hear it in my own community, and I think it's horrible. It's
I
absolutely
thought this was a
horrible.
US thing, so I want to hear your perspective on this, because recently a think tank, a so-called progressive think tank, maybe I don't understand what progressive means anymore, but in DC said that like their advice to the queer community or to the progressive community writ large is that we stop using words like intersectional and queer and like that we're just turning off like rural people and unsophisticated people. Like we need to super assimilate if we want to win elections. And I just feel stabbed in the heart when I hear mess like that. Like I have
Yeah,
to hide or lie or water down who I am in order to be accepted. That's called the closet. I've spent my whole life
yeah.
fighting that. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
they want to us back in the closet, and I can give you a wonderful example of what just happened in Stuttgart. We had this ecumenical gay pride service, and it was very rainbowy and very loud. We had a huge shitstorm on Instagram after that, and part one part of this group was the old Catholics, the liberal Catholics, the one that are not connected to Rome,
Right.
and they are open and affirming and very nice, and it just took one person writing a letter to their bishop, and now they have a huge discussion if they can be part of that next year again because we were too loud and oh, what we shouldn't have been so loud. And if we would not have been so loud, we wouldn't have had the shitstorm we had and the threats to our health and to our safety.
You know what
And
Golgotha was? It was a shitstorm.
Mm.
Hello, that's what we do.
yeah,
Yeah.
and and that's why I think those just open and affirming places are
Mm,
not safe enough, at least not
mm.
for people like me who wants to be loud and who wants to be that queer
You
activist.
remember
Mm.
the Reverend Elder Frida Smith, right? Well,
Yeah,
yeah, hero.
I remember her.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, she
hero.
was wonderful. One of
Dynamic,
my great heroes.
yes, lesbian, feminist, great preacher, all that. She came and preached, I don't know, maybe 5 years before she died at Sunshine Cathedral, because we always like to get the greats. And she came and she did the Dora Derek
Diesel
Diesel
died.
Dyke, whatever that
Little like
Yeah.
thing.
powerful performance. She did her Purple Grass and then she did another sermon. I mean, she just took over that weekend. It was amazing. And I asked her, I said, people always say, are queer churches like us even necessary anymore? Now, this was before all of this foolishness. Now I don't even think it's a question. But back then I said, is it even, people wonder if we're even necessary now that there's so many ONA, open and affirming churches, blah, blah, blah. And her response was, and I honestly believe she was a prophet of God. She said, open and affirming churches are just the latest closet that you can go there, like they're not going to be mean to you. They're going to say gay people are good, but just being seen in their parking lot doesn't damn you. It doesn't condemn you. It doesn't mean you're like you could just be a friend of gay. Whereas in a queer church, you're like, I'm for this agenda. I'm for complete equality. I'm for trans people. I'm for polyamorous relationships. I'm for pansexual people. I'm for everything. She said, open and affirming is just another closet, and she was not about it.
Hmm.
And so that
And
that stays with me.
yeah, and at Durrell, we see that on a different level. All those businesses, those big corporations who were LGBT friendly and were all they one after the other falls right now. All those programs are gone,
Hmm.
and suddenly we are not equal anymore, and we don't have a LGBT group anymore. It's happening right around us. And
Hmm.
I really think we as a community need to wake up and take a stand and be loud and
Hmm.
be in solidarity with each other, which we actually plan next weekend. We are on two occasions. We have the seventh Trans Pride in Stuttgart, which is really great, and we are going to paint a rainbow crossroad somewhere in the city, and just to show our solidarity and make them angry. And the day after, our queer center has their summer thing. So we are doing it right there again and painting their courtyard in rainbow colors. So
Well,
just
I'm going to say I hope as old as all three of us are, that you have someone in your midst that knows how to put that up on TikTok as it is happening live. That should be
I
no
think
there.
collectively we're about
Yeah,
175.
I mean
But
but my point is, when there's an action like that happening in your location, I want to be in solidarity with you here in
yes,
America.
how can
And
we
Thank you.
and I
support?
think,
Yeah.
yeah, and I think one of the advantages that we have to take advantage of is the use of technology and claim it back as our right to make sure that our activism is being seen around the world. And I think a part of that is showing that we also, as the queer, gay, what do you want to call us, community, we have to be together. We really do. And I
Yeah.
know that there are some folks who are still upset over around the celebration of the tea as a part of our a part of our
That's what I
tribe.
wanted to ask.
And
Yes. Is that true
Yeah.
in Europe? Because here in the US, there's
Huge problem.
a
Huge
are
big,
problem.
you
like,
Huge
serious?
I'm
problem.
so disappointed in gay and lesbian people, mostly gay men, who are just, they are completely not only not concerned with our trans siblings,
Mm.
but almost antagonistic toward them. I can't stand it.
What's
Yes,
your experience there?
absolutely. Absolutely. That's in, I think we have, as a queer community in or a gay community here in Stuttgart, several problems. One is the whole thing about trans people. It's so difficult to get people to be in solidarity with trans pride. We have 300,000 people for gay pride and about 150 for trans pride. That
See,
tells something. That tells something.
that's
That's one
heartbreaking.
of the big issues. The other issue is the slut shaming that happens around PrEP.
Mm.
Mm.
Still, people who take PrEP are the ones who want to fuck around, and there we are again. They are.
And
Why
PEP,
don't you marry and move to the suburbs?
is,
Why
is
do you
PEP a
want to
thing?
take?
Is PEP part of the healthcare culture in Europe right now,
Yeah,
PEP? Yeah, where,
yeah.
because I hear in my doctor's office, some young cute guy will say, I'm going to Provincetown for the weekend. I need, a weekend of PEP or whatever, which is what, like, PrEP is what you take all the time so you don't get HIV, but then PEP is what you take for a wild
No,
weekend
no.
so you don't get other things.
PrEP, PrEP is on our healthcare, so I'm getting it through my normal healthcare thing.
Yes.
Every 3 months, I go there for a test, and then they give me the prescription for the next. It's 10 euros, and that's it.
Excellent.
But
But talking
there is
about,
still so much resistance in the community to openly talk about that, and that fits for me right into it because we play into their playbook of, oh yeah, we are so nice and we don't do it. Yes,
Yeah.
we do it, and I want to do it. I do it
they're trying
not
to mess
by
up. They're trying
far
to cock
enough.
block your daddy years. Like there are all these 30-year-olds that be throwing themselves at you. They're trying to cock block your daddy years. That's not right. I rebuke that in the name of Jesus.
Do you think I'm turning into a daddy?
Oh, aren't we all? Oh yeah. You are totally zaddy world right now, I promise.
Oh, yeah, but we have our work cut out for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's, and I think, going back to what you kind of talked about earlier about being tired, we're tired because we've been on the front lines for so many
Yeah,
different things.
Decades.
yeah.
And now we're almost being recalled to be on the front lines yet again. Uh,
That's what I see.
but
Yeah,
but also a little bit more aggressive this time because, we almost have to match what they're doing from our perspective to make sure that we're still seen, we're still known as relevancy, and if it gives them something to be afraid of, then be afraid. Be afraid of our unity. Be
But
afraid of.
that's what we're telling the young kids now, though, too. Also, they're like we've done this before. We know how to do this. Let me take my anti-inflammatory and my arthritis medicine and my B12 shot, and then I'm going to show you how to do this because we've done this.
Yeah.
yeah.
We're
And,
we're we're not as we're not as peppy as we used to be, but we got the playbook still.
yeah,
We're going to handle this.
and some folks, we have a protest here just about every weekend at this point now in the Fort Lauderdale area. There's a protest going every weekend on something. And so, I'm saying to young people, you got to get out, that's a part of the resistance.
Yes.
is getting out and being a witness in the resistance because we can't Facebook this, we can't TikTok this, we can't Instagram this away because if somebody comes and says, "Oh, that's just fake news," well, be a face of the fake news so you can say, "My face is not fake, my
Yeah.
action is not fake, and I'm just real in this, and I
Yeah.
got some skin in this game." So that's what I appreciate about us, like claiming our place in social media.
And that's what people need
Yeah.
to know. We are a culture. We are a people. We have a history. I tell kids all the time, I say, it's not just anal beads. Like we have movies, we have protests, we have history. We've done jail time. We've been beaten in public. Like we survived AIDS, and some of us didn't. Like this is a history and a culture and a life and a story. It's not just a good time at the bar. Now we did such a good job that you think it's just a good time at the bar. And it's an app on your phone and you can get like, yeah, I'm glad we made that easy for you.
But
But
question,
please know what made that possible and what you have to do to keep it.
yeah. So, and now you answer me a question from one old to two other old.
Well, that's not me.
From one old horse to two other old war horses. How do you keep up the energy to do that? Because I am so often I'm tired, I'm sick and tired. I I don't know when I was the sexual outlaw last time. I can't even remember because I don't have the strength to look for
Mm.
a 30-year-old who has daddy issues.
Okay.
Because I'm so tired and
I
I'm
seem to
tired
remember
of,
it was not a long time ago, 2, 3, 4 years, where you were standing almost naked on a public street. I think you're more of an outlaw than you think.
but I'm not getting anything from it. So no, how do we maintain our energy? Because
I think this is
sometimes
part of it.
I just want to go to my Franciscan brothers. They welcome me, and I sit there in silence in evening prayer and think, yeah, I want to do something for my soul, and because I'm too tired to do something for my body. Where do we find the energy? Uh, and that's why I'm so hurt by my own church right now, because for me, the energy came from conversations like we are having now, and we are not doing it anymore in the way we need to do it.
Well, in the
And
old days, we would meet, right? We had
yeah,
conferences once or twice a year at the district level. We'd have international conferences every other
yeah,
year. We'd have leadership conferences. Right? So we would meet and we'd fire each other up once every 3 years. If you can afford it, that's not enough. That's
Mhm.
no,
just
it's
not enough, right? So I think two things that we do is one, we find ways to get together and talk and not only reminisce, but also strategize. So we're doing it, but also like you do in Italy, take some time for self-care and rejuvenation. Now you're tempted to stay there. No, come back, but go for a while and get
yeah,
rejuiced up.
Mm.
Yeah.
yeah,
And one of my take on it is like in my new little motto lately, when I think about everything that's going on, I really do get overwhelmed and I just want to shut down.
He says this all the
yeah,
time.
But then I think about that one thing that I can make a difference at, and that brings me joy.
Yeah.
Because when we get overwhelmed by we can't do everything or anything about everything that's going on. But when I think about that one thing that I can do that brings me joy, when I think about that one thing that I can accomplish that makes a difference with me, that makes a difference for my own self-care, my own self-well-being, all that kind of stuff. It makes a difference. And I think that's when I get rejuvenated to say, okay, I can keep going on. But you got to find the time to do that. And it's also about knowing the questions to ask for yourself too. Like that's
Not
the quick.
only not only we sort of nurtured each other during this hour, but somebody's going to see this, even if it's only one. It might be 10 or 30, but even if it's only one, somebody's going to be part of this conversation that we don't know about yet. And
I
they're going
hope
to be
so.
able to do another week because of this.
Yeah.
I really hope so because there are a lot of people out there who are even worse off than
Mm.
we are.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that people are looking for because I think folks grasp what's coming at us on
Yeah,
some level, but because of what we've gone through personally or professionally, we don't know if we have the stamina to do it again or to continue to do it. And I think that's when we just have to find that way to say, when I think about all of it, I'm overwhelmed. But when I think about one thing that brings me joy, I can take on the next thing.
yeah,
There are two sort of aphorisms that help me. And the older I get, the more these sort of cliches and like are important to me, these bumper stickers, or whatever. And this was very important to me back in the worst of the AIDS years. And where I would tell myself often and say to other people, I've said it in sermons about AIDS, when I think about what I have, I feel like crap. But when I think about how I got it, I can't complain. So
Mm,
there's that. Like put it in perspective. Like living my life having a good time. This is a result, a side effect, or whatever. But I wouldn't change one damn thing, right? So there's that. So
mm,
that's sort of encouraging. Um, the other thing, there's a country and western song in the U.S. It's already old, but it's about this middle-aged guy sort of reminiscing, and he's still drinking, and he's still picking up ladies at the bar, and he's still getting in fights or whatever. And so when people call on him for help or whatever, he'll say, I'm not as good as I once was, but I'm as good once as I ever was. And I think that's true. I can't do all that I used to do, but one time
Mm,
I can really show my ass. I can
mm,
really
mm,
show up. And so yeah, maybe we can't do it all the time, but we can do it sometime.
mm.
And
mm.
so when we can, we do.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, this hour has flown by, but as we begin to wrap this up, I do want to give you the last word. And as you get ready to think about last word, just let our viewers know once again, if you've been watching this, thank you for joining us. Please find other episodes that we've done at sunshinecathedral.org. Click on my bishop page, or you can also visit youtube.com/Sunshine Cathedral, and that is the Sunshine Cathedral YouTube channel. And it
Dr.
has
Schwaigert has even preached the sunshine. You can even find his sermon
You
on
can
our.
find his sermon from there as well. And we'll probably post that sermon when we post this video as well,
You
just
should
as
do,
a
yeah.
reminder. And
That was so much fun.
yeah, I mean, if I recall, you was here for Pride, and you walked down the street. You got a rainbow flag and
March
walked
with
down
us, yes,
and
in
marched with
Pride.
the rainbow flag. And
We did it.
so yeah, the viewers, please go watch all this stuff. Is all out there. But Axel, thank you for being with us. And now we're going to let you have that final word, whether it's about faith, politics, or theology, or even if it's just about hope. You got the last word.
Well, you just took it out of my mouth. Hope is it's the thing, and hope is where Jesus walks with us,
Mm,
and Jesus walks with us on our gay parades. I'm quite sure Jesus is right there painting the crosswalks in rainbow colors, and he knew how it was to be called names and everything and be canceled and be
mm,
his identity being erased. He's right there. That's my hope, and that's what I where I stay and just stay there and do the things and do things that make that clown in your White House angry. And if you do that, then you're doing right things.
Yes.
all right. Well, thank you so much for being with us. Thank you for watching. Take care, everyone. Take care. Bye bye.
Thank you.